Chapter 165. The threefold nature of Abidim the High, and the nature of Enoch as an instrument of the Lord. And the first of the four said to the other three, "If you agree, I will speak. However, if one of you wants to talk, it is just as well." And the other three said, "Brother, you do the talking since you are at it, for we are anyway of one mind and of one opinion." So the first one began promptly to speak, with even more courage than before, saying, "Good man, friend and brother, having gathered from your erstwhile speech that you too possess a high degree of wisdom, I too will open my mouth before you in the manner of high wisdom, thereby expressing my fullest respect and acknowledgement of your high wisdom. So lend a favourable ear to what I shall say. As concerns Abidim, who for 3 whole days was amongst us performing many miracles, our opinion about him is precisely as follows. Abidim is a twofold being. Indeed, I would say, he is a threefold being. He is a twofold being since in him, obviously, both a human and a divine nature find expression. A human nature as to his appearance, which had our form, to which it corresponded in everything completely, and a divine one in his words and deeds. For with him a word could be regarded as an accomplished deed. To be sure, the ordinary man can also think and want many a thing, but his thoughts and intention are only very subtle creations as such, and can never manifest originally, but only as a laborious addition with the aid of mechanical and organic forces through which our inner creation is then imitated, albeit most imperfectly. Thus we can, for instance, think and then pronounce a perfect grass. Thereby it is in us, as it were, created. But we cannot possibly set it outside of us so perfectly as we think it, since our being is only conditional and therefore necessarily limited. Thus we cannot create in the pattern of God's endless being, but only on the smallest scale within the limits of our own being, just as the deity does within the space of its infinite being. But things are totally different with Abidim, who was none other than Jehovah, capable of manifesting in any form whatsoever. For through the human form of Abidim, the deity worked out of its infiniteness, and so what came out of Abidim's mouth had to be a completed work. For all things viewed by us can be nothing else but thoughts and words, which also in the infinite deity must be present in infinite number, and, when spoken by the deity itself, must be visibly present like those thoughts and words in us, which we have spoken with greater determination for and within us. Behold, dear, good man, friend and brother, this is how matters stand. Of course, somebody could object and say, "If that is the case, what about the sometimes occurring power to work miracles in the ordinary man, when he has command over God's thoughts?" I then say, in that case man himself has become a manifestation of the deity, which, although on a smaller scale, works through him just as it had worked through Abidim on the, to us, greatest possible scale. Thus, the divine effect lies not in the essence of man, but solely in the essence of God, who wanted to express himself in this or that way in a human. This applies also to Enoch, who actually is no more and no less than we all are, namely, a quite ordinary man. However, since God through Abidim has called and destined him to be a high priest, or an organ through which to manifest constantly in human form to men, when God expresses himself through him, either through word or deed, Enoch is nearly that which Abidim himself was, namely, a hallowed or capable means for the infinite essence of God to manifest locally and temporarily. As a man, Enoch can do as little as I can. Yet whenever he does achieve something, it is only God who achieves it through Enoch, which Enoch surely realizes better than I do, being a thoroughly wise man. Previously, I have said that Abidim is like a threefold being. This is due to the fact that this very Abidim, as I at least believe to have found out, comprises the divine power in its fullness, since he appeared with absolute authority as the purest love in God, and out of this authority spoke and acted as though the deity in all its fullness were subject to him, not he subject to the deity. Since this is undeniably so, Abidim is threefold, namely, the deity itself, because it is love. Furthermore, the active omnipotence of God himself, because the Word is pure love. And finally, love itself, because the deity itself with all the endless fullness of its might. Behold, here you have our opinion on Abidim and Enoch. I gave it to you as we found it. Now it is again up to you to either accept or criticize it, for only wisdom can test and throw light on wisdom. Yet all honour be to God forever. Amen.